Greetings, I'm Shad, also known as Shadrick the Adventurer, Lord of the Shadlands, and also patron saint of matriculations, boob armor, and now, apparently, wearing weapons on your back. This is an interesting subject, wearing weapons on your back, because it's a trope we see often in fantasy, but also video games. The reason being is people like the look, but also in video games there is a kind of an in-game mechanical utility to it, because while we're playing a game we like to switch between weapons and have the ability to switch back.
So then, where do the weapons go that you are not using when you're cycling between them, such as the bow or spear? Well, on the back, of course.
In reality, if you don't have a convenient way to holster your weapon, specifically like a bow, and someone is rushing you, you've been shooting your bow, someone's rushing you, and you need to draw your sword, what are you to do with your bow? Oftentimes, historically, people obviously must have just dumped it, threw it on the ground, then grabbed their sword, drawn it, and done what they need to do. In video games, that can cause a bit of a problem because you'll need to go back and pick it up all the time. It might be an interesting mechanic sometimes, but for convenience, it seems like most people just opt to being able to toggle between the weapons really quickly. And the game that we see this done quite often, and one of my favorite, honestly, is Mountain Blade, but also now Mountain Blade number 2. And in that game specifically, you toggle between the weapons, but the weapons seem to just be floating on the back. And one of the interesting weapons that it shows being placed on your back are bows, the big ones, the long ones. They kind of show it being equipped in a certain way, which is interesting, and usually the default way that people assume you can wear a bow. It's the way Robin Hood is usually depicted in wearing his bow, and many of the classics, and it's basically slipping your arm and head through a string, stretching it over your chest like that. This kind of works in a pinch, but there are inherent problems when it comes to longbows specifically. Their brace height, which is the distance between the string and the bow shaft, is actually very short, and so this is actually stretching the bow out. And with a heavy bow, like in the war bow category, which this bow is, it's 100 pound, there's actually a lot of pressure pushing down on my chest, and it's very uncomfortable. That's the first problem. The next problem is if you need to grab out the bow quickly. Now, of course, if it's not strung, that's going to take even longer, so it's better than nothing, but grabbing it off, see, it gets caught on things just like that. Okay, I got it off and then I can shoot. And even in one of my more recent videos where I was exploring the best weapons for an adventurer to carry, when I came to the bow, I was kind of stumped. Where do you put it? You can't, like, there are some Asiatic bows in which can fit in a quiver, and they can, you know, stay there. But is that going to work with a longbow? No. Longbows, as you might have guessed by the name, are long and more awkward. And so the default that people have kind of just assumed is that you're going to need to hold it. And that's a perfectly valid assumption that I made. But then I started to wonder, is there an actual way that you could conveniently wear a bow on your back, and in such a way in which you could draw it, pull it out, and use it at a pitch very quickly if you're suddenly ambushed or you see a monster in the distance or something like that. And so at this point I need to give a shout out to Dawson, because he watched my recent video, saw me kind of umming and ahhing with the bow, and he made a video exploring a way to try and wear a strung bow on his back. And his solution was interesting. It was basically attaching another sling on either end to a longbow, and it worked well enough. But it had some problems in terms of the speed in which you draw it out, a convenience, and you could get tangled in that extra string. And so this was a subject that I wanted to dive into fully, but I was watching that video that gave me the last push I needed to really start to think about it. And you might have noticed that I actually have been wearing this longbow on my back, and I've been drawing it out rather easily and casually already. And I put it away that easy, just like that. And now if I need to draw it out, it's a simple matter of grabbing it out. That quick, okay? So what I've put together here works really well, and you might have already seen what it is, but I'll show it to you in a bit of detail. I present to you a very simple attachment called the nail catch. And it's interesting because when I started to try and think about what the answer was, I was almost expecting that it'd have to be this kind of complex answer, but the answer was surprisingly simple, yet I had to sit down. It didn't come to me easy. I had to really think through different options, and then I was like, all right, if we had a some type of thing on it that enabled you to attach it to yourself. What is some easy, simple ways? And then I came to this idea. And so what it is literally using an actual nail. If I come in close, you will see this is a nail that's right there, okay? And they had these in the medieval period. So this is definitely something that you could make with medieval technology. And then I did 2 layers wrapping the bow with rope, and then a third one over on top of the nail, and with enough distance. And so this here has attached what I call the nail catch, because it catches on things. It's not really a hook, because when you say hook, you think an actual curved hook. So you could call it a nail hook or whatever, but I call it the nail catch because it catches on things. And this honestly might be enough just to use casually. Like if I needed to hook it on my belt, for instance, I've got my carriage right there. I could attach it to myself just like that. And it's actually quite secure. And now I have my arms free and I can do what I need. And so you can actually attach it to yourself multiple ways doing this, through your belt, through carriage or something like that. But what I've done to make it really easy and convenient and to not get it tangled with my sword if I need to grab my sword, I have another little attachment. I have a baldric, a belt, which goes over the shoulder, and a little cylinder just taped to it. And you could use like a leather kind of loop or anything like that. That will do it. But can you see through this little cylinder here? I'm not sure if you can. But how this attaches is that the nail catch simply slides through the cylinder just like so. Just like that, okay? And then when it's through, you just sling it. I like to make sure the string is always hanging on that side because it's easier to draw the bow then. And it is that easy. And literally, like, when I say that easy, it works really well, because now when I need to draw the bow, as I mentioned, just need to make sure my hand is close enough to grab it. It's that easy to just draw the bow. And so when I want to put it away, just like so. And now when I want to draw it, just like that. You need to see that again. Let's put it there. There, and then when I want to grab it, works really, really well. So in Mountain Blade Bannerlord number 2, there is a fairly quick animation in drawing the bow. And when I first saw it, I always kind of assumed, well, could you ever really draw a strung bow that quickly if it was holstered on your back somehow? I was kind of like, it's clearly there for a gameplay mechanic. But let's bring my character from Mountain Blade Bannerlord right next to me here and do a bit of a comparison. Let's see if I can draw my bow as fast as the character animation, and I might do a couple of shots to see if I can match the speed that is being shown in Bannerlord as well. So arms by my side, the bow is there ready to go. All right, so let's test this. 3, 2, 1, drawing the thing, grabbing an arrow, get it on the string and shoot. Did I get faster than it? We'll see, but next arrow, shoot. We'll have to see how I did, but I think I was pretty close or very comparable to the Mountain Blade animation. I reckon I could even get it faster than what I did before. So if we were to do it again, like 3, 2, 1, grabbing out, got the arrow, get it on the string. Oh, that was good. That was good and fast. So think about adventurers. They don't know when they're going to be ambushed suddenly. And they also very well might need their hands available if they've got to climb up something or carrying gold, loot or whatever. And so I think having the convenience of being able to holster, carry, whatever, your bow, especially longbows, because longbows are the awkward ones, right? Yeah, we got side scabbards, we got quivers and other things. Spears and longbows are the difficult ones, but this answers it, okay? They just put it there, they're doing a thing, and then suddenly a monster appears and they can whip it out that fast. That is like lightning quick when it comes to longbows. So this really works.
Thanks for visiting the Shadlands, the place to find quick and easy to watch sword-related content. This video was a supercut or clip from a larger Shadiversity video. If you'd like to see the full-length video, please click on the provided links, and I hope to see you in the future.